In this video tutorial, we are going to be combining yarn into bundles and knotting them to add textures to our wall hangings. Here's the example of what we are going to be doing with creating a simple way to make texture using these knots that stick out through our warp lines in the background. Here I've grabbed 3 groupings of yarn that I'm going to use as my whole entire row, and I'm going to start knotting from left to right. So here I've taken the bunch and I'm just going to create my knots. I twist it a little bit. Sometimes that helps me get the knot a little bit easier, and I'm going to do this all the way down and I'm going to leave just a slight knot. I'm not going to pull too tight. I do want it to have a nice sort of thick knotting look, and then I'm going to move to the next knot, and I'm going to do that all the way down in my piece. Okay, now I have this nice long knotted rope. The longer you make it, the more you have to work with when you put it on your loom. I'm going to now take my loom, and underneath the warp strings, I'm going to go up and above and below, and I'm going to let the knot come through the warp. And it doesn't matter if it is perfectly done. We're going to do it irregularly. So you can have it pass through under 2 and then come over 1. You can also pass it under and then fill it around. So go around a couple times on one of the double warp strings and then go back down. And so doing that all the way around and kind of fiddling around with it is going to give it a really cool irregular shape and that bulging effect with the knots like you see here. I'm going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to grab a light blue yarn and get my 3 strings and then begin another row of knots to create a knotted cord. And then again, just weave in and out through my warp strings, leaving the knotted bulge coming outwards and adding all that texture. Having fun with it too, doesn't have to be perfect. It's just weaving around and looping around and so forth. And here's what those 2 colors combined, creating those knots, looks like. Nice and textured and interesting with the raya loops right below. I've decided to complete the weft design in this bundled section by adding more raya loops starting from the right side and moving to the left, and filling in just that section of gaps with different loops to add more of that great different type of texturing. And that is how you make a knotted yarn rope for texturing a wall weave. Thanks for watching, and check out my other tutorials on different weaving techniques.